This video will cover the update portion of the assignment. So on the update portion, it looks just like the insert. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to copy this page and rename it. We will pull project ID number 46. And so if we were to change it here and update it, come over here to project 46, we'll see the rename. If we were to change one of the drop downs, we'll see it update here. And on this page, we grab the start date and end date and separate it out into month and day. So we do some string manipulation there. And just like in the update car, on these select drop downs, we are doing a lot of PHP to select the right one. The good news is these two, once we've done this one once, we can copy and paste it for this one, and same thing here. So, and this one's only two of them, so it's not quite as bad as the update car. Let's start by going to the folder. We are going to start with insert project, and we're going to copy that and paste it. We'll rename it to update project. Once we've done that, we'll drag and drop that update project. So again, make sure that you did not erase your insert project. Make sure you still have that. So we've got update project here. Update project is going to require connecting to the database, so we're going to need an include statement at the top. That goes to includes updateProject.php, semicolon at the end. We'll scroll down here to around the menu area. Oh, actually, let's change our items here. Update project and update project. Now we'll scroll down to around the menu area. And after the menu, we're going to select the project with ID 46. So we'll start with a SQL statement. And we'll do select columns. So we need project ID, proj name, proj category, proj DSC, start date, and end date. So select columns from table name, Assign06 projects, where project ID is equal to, and we're hard coding this one, 46. Again, if you want to test it, you can just select that. There's no PHP concatenation in there, so you can just select this one right here. You can copy that. You can go to phpMyAdmin, make sure you're in the Assign06 projects table, go to the SQL tab, paste it, hit go. You'll see that it has one selected. Again, we're selecting by primary key, which is unique and not null, so you will either get one back or you'll get none back. So we got that one selected there. Again, project ID is unique and not null. It uniquely identifies one row in that spreadsheet of data. Below our SQL statement, we have the same lines we've been using all along. Result is equal to MySQLi underscore query. We pass it $DB, which is our database connection that we created in OpenDBCon. We pass it $SQL, which we created right above us. We check to see if the result is empty, so we do if empty $result. If it is empty, then the variable we create, numResults, is set to 0. But if it's not empty, then we set numResults equal to MySQLi underscore num underscore rows and pass it the result because it's not empty. And we find out just how many rows are in there. Because on this particular page we are expecting there to be either 1 or 0 because we're selecting by primary key. We can go ahead and do the $ row inside of this else and set that equal to MySQLi fetch array and pass it the result. Lastly, we'll do the check to see if numResults is double equal to 0. We will set our session error message equal to you must first insert a project with ID 46. We come down here now. This will need to go to doUpdateProject. So this is our action, HTML action. We've not created that yet. We'll say change insert into to update Assign06 projects table. And then we start editing all of these pieces. So just like on update car, project ID is going to have 2 inputs. One of them is disabled and one of them is hidden. So we'll make the first one, or we'll start by doing the first one. So this 4 is going to become for project ID DIS for disabled, and it's going to go with this one here where we've got project ID DIS, and then same thing here, DIS, size 20, max length 3, oops, value equal to, and then inside of that value equals to, we're going to open our PHP. And this is where we do the same kind of statements that we had in update car. So it's going to be an if statement, and we check to say if $numResults is not equal to 0, curly brackets, we echo out the trimmed value of $row project ID. Before we close that one out here, we put disabled equals disabled, up in double quotes. So we wind up with this, name and ID equal project ID DIS. Type is text for this one. Value equals, if numResults is not equal to 0, we go ahead and write out the project ID. And this one's disabled. Now we duplicate this, paste it. This one is not disabled, so we get rid of that. This one is hidden. Change that, and then this one does not have the DIS, so the name equals project ID, like this. make sure that you've got name equals project ID right here, because that's the value that's getting submitted to the other page, and that's what we're going to do an underscore post looking for. So now we've got our hidden value that gets submitted and our disabled value that gets displayed. Project name. We'll do the same thing here. The value equals. Except we are looking for proj name. So we leave our everything the same there, except we're just changing that. On the select drop down here, this is where we have a logical and, so we're checking to make sure that num_results is not equal to 0 and that the project category is equal to one of these two. So it's just two of them here. We are going to start with this. Now let's just write it out. So I'll open my PHP just inside of that closing greater than. So you'll notice I've got double quotes and then my PHP, and then I've got this closing one. That's the closing option, open option tag. Inside of there we'll do an if statement with curly brackets. Inside of the if statement we have a logical and. So we're going to have a grouping, logical and grouping. In this first grouping, we're going to look for if num_results is not equal to 0. In this second grouping, we're going to look and see if the trimmed value of $row proj category is double equal to commercial. Make sure that this right here matches this right here. If both of those are true, inside of our curly brackets we have an echo statement where we write out selected equals single quote selected. Once we've done that, I'm going to grab the PHP portion here. Make sure you don't grab that closing greater than there. We'll copy this. Again, I'll put a space there and I'll paste it. We'll change the word commercial to residential, and we'll make sure that it matches the value equals over on the left hand side. So for both of those, if num_results is not equal to 0 and, logical and, the trimmed value of project category is equal to the value on the left, then we're going to say that that one is selected. Again, with a logical and, both the left and the right side have to evaluate to true in order for this to happen. Project description is going to be like project name up above. So I'm going to come up to project name and copy this. Come down here and paste it and change project name to proj DESC. And again, this proj DESC needs to match up here what we are selecting, proj DESC. So we come to the drop downs here. So I'm going to put a little bit of comments in here. We're going to open our PHP and close our PHP. And so what we're going to do is separate start date and end date into 4 variables. And those are going to be start month, end month, start day, and end day. The date is stored as month day in our example. So JUN space 01 would be an example. To get the month, we will get a substring of the whole string, starting from position 0 and going to the space. To get day, we will get a substring of the whole string, starting from the space and going to the length, which is the last character. So now we'll have 4 lines here. We're going to have $ start month is equal to, we are going to make sure that we trim the value. Inside of trim, we are going to do substring, S-U-B-S-T-R. When we did that, you'll see that it prompts you for the string we're looking for, the start and the length. So on this one, we're getting the month, so we're starting from position 0 and we're going to the space. So first we need to give it the string. So we do sorry, I mixed. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. We need $row. Start date. Again, start date is what comes from the database. It's the combined value. So we are trimming the overall value, but whenever we do $row, we also have to trim. So I'm going to put, you're going to have a lot of parentheses. So you'll see that this one matches up with this one. This one matches up with this one. So we've got trim inside, and inside of that substring, and inside of that trim. So that's our starting point there. Let's find this right there. We put a comma. The second value is going to be starting position, which is 0. The third value is going to be the position of a character, which is going to be strpos, string position, open and close parentheses. And we need the trimmed value of $row, start date, and then string position is asking for the first value is the string itself. The second is what you are looking for within that string, which is a space. So we will do comma, space, double quote, space, double quote. So we're looking for a space between those two. You should have 3 parentheses there at the end. As you select next to each one, you can see where they go. You can make sure that you have all of your closing parentheses as you go across there. So now we're going to do $start day equal to, and it is the same format, but we change the content of it. So we're going to start with trim substring trim the start date, but we're not starting at 0. We're starting at this, right? So we're just going to backspace there. So we've got comma space, and we're looking for the string position. I'm going to select that so we can see where that one ends. And then the third value of substring is going to be, we need the length or the last character for the day. So we do strlen, open and close parentheses, the trimmed value of $row start date. Scroll over so that all fits. So this is going to give us the length. So it's going to tell if it's six characters long, it's going to say it's going to be 6. Again, out here you're going to have 4 closing parentheses, and as you select next to them, it should show you what each one goes to, and that last one goes all the way to the left there. This one is our substring. This one is our string length, so that'll help you line them up. Now we do that 2 more times, but we're doing it with end date. So I'm going to copy these 2 and paste it. And this becomes end month, and this becomes end day. Both of these become end date. This becomes end date. This becomes end date. And this one becomes end date. So now we've got our month, day, and we can go ahead and begin our auto population for these. I'm going to start with what we did right up here, and I'm going to grab the PHP. Make sure you do not grab that second greater than sign right there. Okay. So I grabbed a space in front of it, and then I've got open PHP to close PHP. Copy that. We'll come down here, and we're going to do that for each one of these. We're going to paste it into that first one. And instead of project category right here, we are doing if number results equals 0, and we got to get rid of this whole trim. And $start month. And get rid of that parenthesis is double equal to Jan. So now I don't like how it does that because we're within HTML. So we've got open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. This one goes with our if statement. Echo selected equals selected. And then you've got your closing PHP, your closing greater than for your option tag. So now this is what we can copy and paste all the way down through there, and we'll just have to change Jan as we go down through there. You're making these match what's on the left there. Always remember that you're matching the value equals. You're not matching what's on the right, even though for this example it's the same. You're matching what's in the value equals. So now we've done that one, and the good news is we can just copy and paste that one and then we'll have to change the word start month, but we can just copy and paste this January through December, come down here to the other set of months, January through December, paste it, but start month here becomes end for each of these. So I'm going to copy that. And a couple of things happened there that I did not mean. There we go. Go. So be careful on your copying and pasting. Make sure you have everything. That's partly why I line up everything vertically, so that you can scan up and down in addition to left and right. So we've got our end month there. And now we've got to do the days. And likewise, we can, once we've done it the first time, we can copy and paste it for the bottom one. So here we've got, I've got a space before my PHP. Again, make sure you don't have that greater than for the closing option. We'll come down here and paste it. This is going to become start day is equal to 0, 1. So that will be your if num results is not equal to 0, logical and start day is double equals to 0, 1. Again, you're matching the value on the left, the value equals. So I'm going to grab that entire PHP again. Make sure you don't get the extra greater than. Copy that, and we're going to move down through here, putting it in all 31 of these. Now, you realize that not all months have 31 days, and that's an added complexity that we can certainly take care of. But for this assignment, I think you might agree that it's large enough as is, and I think you're learning how you can handle how many days are in a month, right? You're going to have some if statements there in order to determine how many months you're going to write out. So all of this stays the same, except we've got to change our numbers going down through here. So now we've got our 1 through 31 there. I'm going to select all of these options, copy them, go down to this one, make sure you've got just the ones that need to be replaced. This has to become end day all the way down. Be careful on your copying and pasting. fix those. So now we've got our start month, start day, end month, end day, our session down at the bottom. If there's an error message, we'll change this insert info to update project. And then we will, let's see, project ID should be disabled on that page. So the second one I think is project name. So it'll be disabled, so we can't select that, but we can select this right here, ID equals proj name. Go all the way to the bottom and set the focus on that. So I'll save that. It'll take a second. When I go to update project for the first time, so I've got my update, Assign06 projects, update project. It automatically selected number 46. I can, well, we haven't done doUpdate yet, but it selected commercial, it selected the values coming out of there, set our insertion point. So our update project is looking like it should. Next we'll be doing the doUpdate project. To start, we will go to doInsert project. Copy that, paste it. And change it to doUpdate project. Should not take us very long to get through this one. And then we will pull that one out here so that we can edit it. So we've got our session start. We are still grabbing the same information from that previous page. Still a posted project ID that's disabled, or it's hidden in this case. We need add slashes for project name and description. The rest are drop-down boxes. We're still doing remove these on the name and description. We're still checking to see if all of these are empty, but instead of going to insert project, we are going to update project here, and we're going to update project here. Still checking to see if project ID is numeric. New project, everything's okay. Clear the session variable, open our database connection, and then this is where things start to change. So we do not need a select statement, right? For this one, we're just doing an update. So we don't need the select statement. If empty, if else. We don't need any of those. That brings us to, so here's our OpenDBCon. We've got our start date equals start month concatenated with start day. End date equals end month concatenated with end day. And then this needs to become an update statement. Result equals MySQL iQuery, database connection, SQL, close the database connection, redirect to select. So the last thing that we need is an update statement right here. And we are going to delete this entire thing and write the update statement. So we will have update table name, Assign06 projects, set column name equal value, comma, column name equal value, and so on, where column name equal value, where some condition, where the primary key is equal to a value, where project ID is equal to 46 is what we're doing. So update Assign06 projects, set proj name is equal to single quotes proj category is equal to single quotes. Again, those are stored as text in the database, which is why they have single quotes around them. Proj descript is equal to single quotes. Start date is equal to single quotes. End date is equal to single quotes. Where column name, where primary key, project ID is equal to the value that was submitted to this page. So is equal to concatenated with $ project ID. So where project ID equals, and we're submitting 46. So that'll wind up being where project ID equals 46. Now what we need to do is concatenation in between each one of these single quotes. So if I start here, and I do double quote, period, period, and put in end date. If I go to the start date, in between these single quotes, I do 2 double quotes. In between those, I do 2 periods for concatenation. And put our local variable start date. Project descript, again, this is the column name that is in the database. So if you go to phpMyAdmin and look, do our concatenation, $, proj. Actually, let's do that, because I think this is proj desc, and you probably do too. Structure. Proj desc. So where project column name equals the value from up above, do our last concatenation here, 2 double quotes, 2 periods for concatenation. I guess we got one more after this. Proj category. Yes. 2 double quotes to end and begin our text literals, 2 periods to concatenate, $ proj name. And now, that's a lot of concatenation. So again, we're going to echo it out and then exit. So we'll stop the processing before it happens. I'm going to save that. We're on Update Project, and I'm just going to hit Update Project, which will take me to this page. This is our echo statement. Update column name update table name set column equal value, comma, column equal value, and so on, column equal value, where column name equals value, where primary key equals something. So let's go ahead and copy this out. We can go here, go to the SQL tab, make sure you're on the Assign06 projects table or it won't work. Paste it, hit go, it was successful. So what that tells us is that we've got our single quotes in the right place, we're not missing any commas, so it's formatted correctly. So let's come back here, let's comment out the echo, comment out the exit, save it again. And now let's remove those X's. Let's change it to residential. Let's add a couple X's there. Let's change the month and the day and the month and the day. And we're looking at number 46. Update project 46. Remove the X's, residential, added the X's, change it. Come back here again. Update. Make sure that you test every aspect of it. Okay, make sure that you test every aspect of it. You must enter a value for all boxes. Must enter a value for all boxes. There we are, back to here, and then so you can continue to test that out, make sure that it works for each aspect. So there's a lot going on in that one, especially with the string manipulation. Again, that's using substring, which takes the string that you're looking at, the starting position and the ending position. So it gives you a subset of a string. The string position, which takes the string itself and then what position you're looking for, and then, or what character you're looking for, and it gives you the position. And then the string length, which takes the string and gives you the length of it. So there's a lot going on in string manipulation, and there's much more that you can learn there as well. It's very useful. So that covers the update project portion of this. The next video will cover delete.